So looking at what you have here, it's a decent start, but I think you're missing some of the things that we kind of discussed on Saturday. The ear's definitely going to have to go up in resolution by a lot, and then the mouth. We had talked about the same thing you have with the eye, doing that circular or radial loop. You're going to want the same thing as around the mouth because it's going to open and close and do similar things. Um, you can see with the corner of the nose, you're getting kind of that stair step effect I talked about. So it's kind of fighting the contours that would happen there. So let me just kind of hide this. And if we come through, and let's make this surface live. I'm going to go to the modeling toolkit, quad draw. So for something like the nose, usually you're going to have the nostril follow the smile line or the fold that's there. So it's going to be maybe something similar to this. And then you can take that up and over, or you can go into the nose. So everyone does that part a little bit different if you want to treat it as an extrude. I should have turned the mirroring on again too. And then I don't want to say the difficult part is, but you have to think about making, these line up because you're going to want to close this up. So I would take maybe these two quads across, and this is where sometimes topology is like solving a puzzle. Right, so now all that kind of added up, and this is going to help us follow that smile line even better. So maybe, this is where we start to follow that fold down that we spoke about. So when he smiles, it's going to work out. So we can kind of hold that edge. For the lips, maybe start it like this. And you'll get used to trying to use the same density. And right now I'm making sure, kind of like we talked about with the eyes, that those verts are lining up, going up and down. So right now, the density that you have, unless you're doing a kind of a lower resolution game character for, like, let's say, like a handheld or something like that, your topology is not really going to kind of hold up to being deformed. And we also discussed that you want to try to keep your polygon count fairly even. So there's times where I'll lay things in a little light, but like this right here, I'm going to want to even that out, right? So when I go through and relax it, I can start getting some of those polygons to be all a similar size. You'll have some variance to it, so it's never going to be perfect, but you want to get it close at least. Oops. Right, now I can look up here and say, okay, how does this all come together? Maybe I want three edges going through here, and this kind of goes right into it. Maybe I want to turn this loop so it goes across. I would probably want to take this stuff straight up into it, so I'd maybe put one more on each side here. Now I can do that. Maybe I want one more here. I can do that. 1, 2, 3. That's going to take us across. And then this hole will get extruded in as well, so perhaps I want to take this one across to kind of start where that extrude's going to happen. And we'll keep that kind of a circular flowing kind of topology, if you will. Right, so that's where that extrude's going to be. We maybe want more polygons for what's going to go up and around there, so I'd maybe bring these guys in, cut this one more time, and that would leave this to go there, and then I have a nice kind of center line going up the nose now. So it took a little bit to kind of figure out how all that's going to come together. And then I come back through and maybe relax this so I don't have those nice long polygons through there. And if things are starting to not follow that smile line, I'll go back and adjust it, after I've relaxed it. So I just kind of keep carrying that through the nose, then up the bridge. So I would say maybe this would just go up and through the nose, so we can just continue with that. And if we want to bring out the ball of the nose more, maybe this part goes up and over that bridge. So perhaps we want to do something more along these lines, where this would start to go kind of up and over. But when we do that, you see that's where we start getting star junctions. Now the nose doesn't move much, so that one might be okay. Maybe we're okay with it. And this fold's probably going to get tighter in there. And then maybe the rest of these just kind of stack upward. So, but you could look at your reference, for that. But we have that circular loop. We have an extrude here where we can kind of get our topology to centralize, if you will. We're holding this smile line right here. Any major muscle shapes like this form through here. We'd want to make sure those edges follow, so I could always find that main defined shape. Right? And then if it's not dense enough, I can quickly put those edge loops through, but this would follow, or flow to the side here. And again, just kind of relax it. You'll be using the relax quite a bit when you're doing this stuff. So I would say study some more of those edge flow examples, that I showed you. Kind of really understand why you'll put, some of these loops in. We're trying to follow the muscle structures. We're trying to think about how this would deform and place those edges so we don't get the stair-stepping effect. So part of it's about holding details, right? Part of it's about getting it to deform properly. So we want to think about how it deforms, and then we want to think about what shapes we're getting in the end. So let me know if this doesn't quite make sense as you see me do some different parts. I know we did mostly up here. That's why I want to kind of start down here and talk through what I'm thinking about. The ear, I would come through, and this is your helix that spirals in. So I'd still try to keep it light, not quite as light as what you had, but you want to flow with these details so the edges keep holding that shape. And then where I'm not holding the silhouette, like right here and here, I could cut it, and that's going to help me to, get enough edges there to start holding that shape a little bit better. So up here too, cut it there maybe. So because we're doing like what we talked about is like a medium to high resolution character here, so we want to make sure we have enough edges that we can really get that shape. And then even those interior shapes, so we have the anti-helix right here, so maybe we want one more to hold kind of the lip, if you will, of that detail. We'll probably have an edge through here to help hold that shape. So any round shape, you need a minimum of 3 edges to kind of be able to bring that detail out. Through here. And now we probably have enough detail. We might end up putting another edge loop in here to really hold that inner detail. But now we could take this line, and that's going to follow this curvature, right? So it's going to kind of circle around. So maybe we want like that. We might end up having 2 more cuts through there. Right, so then that's going to follow through here. We'll piece this together how you saw me kind of piece the nose together, but now we're kind of getting all these shapes. The tragus is that little kind of nubbin at the front of your ear. So maybe we want to bring that out like this. Maybe this will get cut one more time. Just kind of some examples of how to start piecing that together, and you can find even kind of roadmaps of how to re-topologize an ear, if you want to look at how some people did it. But this week let's take another pass. I know we first talked kind of Saturday, but I want to see some really rock solid re-topology, and even with high-res stuff up here, if you want to follow some of the major wrinkle structures and things, you can, after you get that first initial loop around the eyes. But like with your brow, you can see these edges flow with that shape. And I could even isolate this in a looping structure, right? So it's coming up and over, so it's really flowing kind of with that shape. So take another pass at it. Let me know if you have any questions or any issues, kind of pop up, and we can try to meet up again this week and cover any of that. But I'm sure it's just because, we kind of met Saturday and things were still kind of, sinking in from the conversation, and then turn in with Sunday. So take another pass. This is kind of, you can see the density I'm putting in some of these places, and how I'm sort of, continuing to relax. I know we went over that, but let me know if kind of following these structures isn't, or if you're not quite seeing what I'm saying, and we can meet back up. But a decent initial pass, but let's kind of really go into this rabbit hole and make some really nice topology.